Good day, everyone. Welcome to our talk show. Where we discuss interesting topics related to language and learning. And by the way, I am Hazel, your host for today. Our topic is the imbricative relationship between innatism and behaviorism in language and learning. At first, these theories may seem to contradict each other. So, as you say, innatism says that we are born with the ability to learn language, while behaviorism says that language is learned through imitation, repetition, and reinforcement from our environment. So, are these theories completely different, or do they actually work together? To help us answer these questions, I am joined by my friend, and welcome to the show, Faye.
Okay, so thank you, Hazel. So I'm happy to be here. So this topic is very interesting because we use language every day. But we rarely stop and think about how we actually learned it.
Exactly, and let's begin by understanding these two theories. Faith, could you briefly explain what innatism is?
Of course, so Innatism is a theory proposed by the linguist Noam Chomsky. So he believed that humans are born with a natural ability to learn language. And according to him, our brains are already prepared for language learning. So this is why children can learn their first language even without anyone teaching them grammar rules directly. So for example, so young children begin speaking in complete sentences without studying grammar books. They naturally learn sentence patterns just by being exposed to the language around them.
I see, that's true. Because when we were children, our parents didn't actually teach us subjects and verbs before we started talking, right? So we simply learn naturally as we grow older. So now let's move on to behaviorism. So what is it about?
So behaviorism was introduced by psychologist B.F. Skinner. So unlike Innatism, behaviorism says that language is learned through our environment. So children imitate the people around them. They repeat words they hear and receive praise or correction. So through constant practice, they gradually develop their language skills. So for instance, so when when a child says "mama," so parents usually become excited and praise the child. So this positive response encourages the child to continue speaking. So if a child pronounces a word incorrectly, parents often repeat the correct pronunciation until the child learns it.
I see. So according to behaviorism, language learning depends greatly on experience and interaction with other people.
Exactly.
Right. So many people think, right, that this theory is opposed to each other. So what do you think about it?
I actually think that they complement each other instead of competing.
Mm.
So, Aneutism explains why humans are capable of learning language, while behaviorism explains how the ability develops through experience. So it's like learning how to walk. It's like learning to walk. So babies are naturally born with the ability to walk someday, but they still need practice. So they still need practice, encouragement, and of course guidance before they can do it confidently. So I think language work the same way.
I see. I completely agree actually because being born with the ability to learn language doesn't mean we automatically know every word. And
Yes.
of course, yes, we still need people around us to speak with us, correct us, and encourage us. So, can you share a personal example on faith that shows both theories actually work together?
So of so of course. So let's use my experience because I think it's a very good example.
Sure.
So both of my parents are from Negros, so Occidental and Oriental. So sometimes they use words or expressions that are common there in their province. But however, since I was born and raised here in Cebu, so there are many Negros words that I don't completely understand. So instead, I naturally became more comfortable speaking Cebuano Visayan because the language I heard every day in my neighborhood. So because it's the language that I heard every day in my neighborhood, in my school, and even in my community.
Okay, so that's exactly what happened because even your parents speak right, speak using some Negros expressions. Most of your classmates, teachers, relatives, and friends communicate in Cebuano Visayan. So we constantly heard, or I constantly heard and used Cebuano while growing up, so it became my preferred language also. So there are still times when my parents says words from their hometown based on my experience, and I have to ask them actually what those words means. So
So yes, I can say that my experience or experiences perfectly combines the both theories. So according to Innatism, I already had the ability to acquire language, and according to behaviorism, my daily exposure to Cebuano, my interactions with people, my friends, or anyone, and my constant practice shaped the language that I became most comfortable using.
I see. So can we also think of like another example that students can easily relate to?
Definitely. So let's talk about learning language. So students are naturally capable of learning another language because humans are born with the ability to acquire language. However, becoming fluent doesn't help doesn't happen automatically. So students improve because teachers explain lessons, classmates communicate in English, schools provide activities, and learners practice speaking, writing, listening, and even reading. So many students also watch English movies, listen to English songs, follow English speaking content creators, and play online games where they communicate with people from different countries. So, with these experiences, so it's strengthen their language skills through continuous exposure and practice.
I see. Actually, I can relate to that because personally, watching English movies with subtitles has actually helped me improve my vocabulary and pronunciation. Sometimes I even learn expressions that aren't usually discussed inside the classroom. So, speaking of movies, do you think media plays a role in language learning also?
Absolutely. So, for me, media has become one of the biggest sources of language learning today. Um, through YouTube videos, podcasts, television shows, social media, music, and movies, learners hear authentic conversation. So they learn pronunciation, vocabulary, grammar, and even expressions used by native speakers. So unlike memorizing words from textbook, media allows learners to see how language is actually used in real life situations.
That's true because nowadays students actually spend several hours online every day. So if they actually choose educational content, they can definitely improve their language skills
Yes.
without even realizing they're actually studying. So yeah, and after discussing everything, what can we say about the relationship between Innatism and behaviorism?
So I think the best way to describe it is that they overlap. So humans are born with the ability to learn language, but that ability becomes stronger, of course, through interaction with family, teachers, friends, school, media, and society. So one theory explains the natural ability, while the other explains how experience develops that ability. So instead of choosing one theory over the other, so we should understand that both contribute to success language learning.
I completely agree because language learning is not simply about nature or nurture. It is the combination of both actually. So without
That's
our
right.
natural ability, learning language would be very difficult. And without practice also and interaction, that natural ability would never fully develop. So, right? So, as we actually, like end today's discussion, we learned that Innatism and behaviorism are not opposing theories, but
Yes,
complementary ones.
that's right.
Because, as we discussed earlier, Innatism reminds us that humans are naturally equipped to acquire language,
Yes,
while behaviorism reminds us that our environment, experiences, and interaction help develop that ability into effective communication. So, our own experiences, whether learning our first language, speaking Cebuano while growing up in Cebu, or simply improving English through school and media, show that both theories actually work together in real life. So, thank you so much for that, Faith, for joining us today.
so thank you, Hazel. So I enjoyed our discussion, and I hope our viewers learned something valuable also.
Definitely. And thank you also to everyone who watched our talk show. We hope that this discussion helped to better understand how language learning is influenced by both our natural abilities and the
Yes.
environment around us. So have a wonderful day and see you in our next discussion.
Thank you. Bye.